Well, it's a sultry, I'm using that word a lot lately, July 13th, 2025. You're looking at the Oyster Bay Railroad Museum and the old Oyster Bay train station, built in 1889. Gonna take a tour of this place and try out some of the exhibits if I can, hopefully the simulators. Get a few shots inside the station building. Remember this slogan? They still have it on some of their locomotives. Oyster Bay is the home of President Theodore Roosevelt. There's a telegraph office, station agent's desk. PD Tower in 1970. And this is from Locust Tower in Locust Valley. That was closed in 75. This is the control desk from Nassau Tower in Mineola. Tower is gone, the interlockers are still there. But you can see where the Oyster Bay branch diverges off here, off the main line. Nassau 2 and Nassau 3. And over here is Nassau 1. Here's an O-gauge model railroad. Got a Fairbanks Morse H 1644. That's a SW 1001, I think. This is the second part of the museum where they store the railroad equipment and the simulators. Hey, Eden, he's inside M1 cab 9234. How strong are your wrists with that throttle? Man.
Strong now.
I don't know why everybody seems to hate those things running them, but
They're really rough.
I know one conductor who swears by them, though.
Really?
Metro North conductor. Yeah. Conductor Paul, you must know Conductor Paul if you watch my videos.
I know Conductor Paul.
Oh, you know him personally?
Not know him personally.
Oh,
but I
you
know
gotta
him.
meet him. You gotta meet him. I guarantee you'll never forget the experience. He's a really good guy. Very buff friendly.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ah. Well, I appreciate your interest and attention.
No problem.
All right, enjoy. Yeah, look at this. I don't remember this from last year, but that is what a Bud M1 cab looks like.
Here we go.
Here I am at the Oyster Bay Railroad Museum next to this P54. You don't know what the car number was of this, do you?
No, Leaf.
Maybe it was number 1. I remember number 1.
Leaf knows everything.
Well, all I know is I rode on these as a kid, and they were very rough riding. And when you went 60, you felt like you were doing 160. And they say there's no floor in this car. But
No,
when I rode it,
not now.
I could see the rails underneath. It felt like there was no floor even when I was a kid riding on these things. On the Patchogue Scoot, I rode them on the Patchogue Scoot a lot with an RS3 pulling it. It was really good. But how I wish they were running again.
You're very handsome.
Oh, thank you.
I know.
Right now, we have.
Here's Matt, works here, volunteer. We're
So
in,
these are for the sills on the outside. We had to remove some of the rotted out sill plates, so we had these fabricated. And there's little round over pieces that we also have new plate for. If you keep on going down.
this is P54, modernized version with the special seating, and ain't no place to sit here right now, but
No, not at the moment. So over here on this side, what's pretty cool is we did a new process. Instead of riveting, which requires a hot riveter, 2 air guns, and 2 people kind of knowing what they're doing, a little bit more of a sensible approach in the modern era is to use a carriage bolt. You use carriage bolt. Has the same cross sectional strength as a rivet, but instead of needing a rivet gun, you use an impact driver. And all you do is you place it through the piece of metal, impact it on, And from the outside, you can barely tell the difference. The only difference is an exterior profile, but to most people, no one will notice.
That's pretty subtle. Good way of doing it. Yeah.
Come over here, you'll also notice that we need to repair our frames.
Yeah.
These will go down. This was a brand new manufactured piece. I believe, can't remember the company that made it, but 2 of our volunteers who are, I guess, career welders did work on those. I helped with fitting the plates in.
Is this the original size of the windows are in here? Or are they?
Yep.
Oh.
This would have been the original size. They would go up about halfway. We have all the tracks and windows ready to put in. They're in our box car over there. But right now we have a test fit window put in place. We're just making sure all the window frames actually can hold the original window.
Oh, okay.
That works out nicely. We have the steam heat vents on that side. What's really funny is we do think this was the north side of the car, just because this side of the car was so much worse in condition than that side. There's a lot of original material in there. This car, the only thing original about it is the outer plate that's on the center line. Other than that, barely anything you're seeing here is original. Original stuff was all riveted together. We got welds over here, and essentially a lot of new manufactured stuff. It's what happens when Knox and Kane didn't take care of them, after Long Island didn't take care of them, and I think right after the factory no one took care of them. So that's what you get with the Long Island Railroad.
They have a few of these at the Boonton Station in New Jersey.
And Walkersville Southern, they run a couple of these too.
Oh yeah, I heard of that.
They have, there's still a few of these things kicking. One day she'll roll.
They ran on Steamtown, I know. So there were fan blades up there, I take it.
Yeah, I believe so. I think there was some kind of fan system. I know that in those indented boxes there was an air vent system. This car never had a clerestory, so instead of having clerestory let air in, it was just these fan boxes on top that cycled air through the cars. They were known to be very leaky, so you didn't want to sit underneath one during rainstorm.
No, the modernized versions had the fans. I don't think the pre-modernized versions had any fans.
Nope, they had forced air going through those holes. That's all I know. So.
And I know that the batteries on these, they were charged by a fan belt that was based. You had the car had to move.
Yes, the car did have to move to charge the batteries. Yeah,
and then if it stood still too long, it would get dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. But
I know, these things had concrete floors originally.
Yeah.
And over time, the concrete would start to, do what concrete does, and that's turn to dust. And the tile would break, and then you could see through the ground. I think that was the last straw when the railroad said, well, we can't make the illusion of these things being safe anymore. So they started taking them out, replacing them with more P-72s, which I think there are a few on the island still.
The Riverhead Museum has, well, it belongs to you guys. They have a couple out there.
Oh, well, yes, those two. And then there's a BM60 out there. That's also Oyster Bay's. Hopefully that'll be over. Once 35's together, that's what I said.
P-72s were good cars. They rode smooth. They...
A lot nicer than these. A lot nicer than these. I can say that.
There was, no, they were rough riding. I would love to stand in the front vestibule there behind an RS3, roaring down the track on the Montauk branch, blowing that M3 horn. Oh, man. Man, I get goosebumps just thinking about it.
So
But
in about 3 years, hopefully, don't hold me to it, this should be back at one piece. We're right now focusing efforts on 35. So
are you going to paint it gray or the old Tuscan red, or?
if paperwork is to go correct, this could be painted in Tuscan red and be accurate. However, that would mean needing to bring it back to its original state, and that's finding old fittings and a lot of other things. So it depends. And on top of that, a lot of the museum guys like the Tichy scheme, some guys like the MTA scheme, so it might go down to a raffle. Who knows?
Yeah, the T-54s were, they looked like the P-54s, but they had MU connections on them. They had pneumatic doors.
Shoes too.
No, they didn't have
They
shoes.
didn't have shoes, okay.
These cars didn't have shoes. Some of the motorized trailers, the
They had
50,
shoes, okay.
those were the 5700s. They had shoes. But if this is,
I think this is a 57.
if it's a T-54, then it would have had a 6000 number if it was modernized. So
Oh no. This car's history is, at this point, I think it's getting lost to time now. We don't have that much paperwork left, so.
Well, good luck restoring this thing to the best way you can get it done. It'd be great. Love these cars. Love riding them. The passengers didn't like them, but I loved them. So, all right. 35 tender?
Yep, we're building, well, technically not 35s, originally 21s, and then was transferred over to 35. We hope to dress one side up in the Sunrise Special paint scheme that 21s tender had, the other side just say Long Island on it. You know, a little joke I like to say about the Pennsylvania Railroad is they were known as the standard railroad of the world.
Right.
And so they had all these little parts, because all these tenders were made of standard parts. And so if you were to tell a Pennsy engineer, give me an L bracket of this number, and you then tell him to bring me one again, there's a good chance you'll end up with something like that. In the Pensy's eyes, it's the same piece, but something tells me they're a little bit different.
Oh. Yeah, they tried to be alike, but there were definitely differences. No question about it.
It's tender number. I can't tell you. There's a fun code scheme that went with all these things, but this is probably the worst off thing that we have to restore. If you look near the sill, it's all rotted out. So we're installing, and you can see from here, not on this one, on the sills back there, we finally have plates tacked in place, and we're just replacing all that metal because it's getting down to the point of paper, and you got to replace it.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, now you guys keep busy. How many guys you have volunteering here at the museum?
I mean, on a good day, we can pull up to, I've seen 15 at once,
Wow.
which is a lot. The average day, you're looking at like 8 volunteers. Yesterday, I think there was, yeah, it was 8 guys yesterday.
Yeah, the only 2 guys I know are Kareem and Rafi. Raphael. I met him up in Katona. He was chasing a Metro North Holiday Express last year with Jake.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, Raph is, I'm great friends with him. We always work together on stuff. He's part of the train crew, so once we start doing train rides, you'll probably see more of him.
All right. A lot of parts. Look at this.
Tender door, sand dome, T-head, connector, oh my gosh, piston connectors, piston heads, grab irons, great parts, everything's back here.
Wow.
And this is a pretty fun thing. We used to be able to walk on top of the tender. Now we can't because those are the tender struts.
Oh. Well, I can see cylinders of a steam engine here.
Yes, this is our frame. Right now, we're working on getting all the springs off to send to Kentucky. So we have all our springs getting disassembled right now. A recent effort is we need to jack the back side of the locomotive frame up just because there's a little bit too much pressure to remove the back springs. So that's why those are still in there, and they're in a very tight spot to work with. On top of that, this frame, which is pretty cool, is, I believe, this is something I've seen, I believe this locomotive was involved in an incident or a crash. There was a photo I saw of a locomotive looking at the front, sitting on its right side. I do know that 35 was one of the earlier locomotives to undergo a rebuild. One of the biggest pieces of evidence of why I believe it was 35 is if we look at the frame, or at the piston casting, it says 7/26/1928. That's the original cast date. We go around to the front. Now, it could not have been 35. She did undergo her rebuild in 1942. However, if one side piston was in good enough condition to keep during that rebuild, I would assume the other side piston was. However, this is a newly built cast for the locomotive.
1942.
So, I also remember reading an article that there is a theory that she was involved in a crash that happened during the time in Morris Park. Some of the volunteers believe that, I'm going to say I'm one of those.
I'll have to read about that,
volunteers.
see what they...
Alongside that, stuff on this side just looks a lot newer. You know, if you compare this piece to the other piece, it's a little less damaged. On top of that, all the springs are less rusty. There's a lot of evidence that says a lot of stuff was replaced on, now talking from the engineer's perspective, the left side of the locomotive. So it's very cool. You get to work on this, and it's very nice.
All right, the more people you have, the better.
Exactly.
So, well, here's the firebox of the 35. I see a cab over there. That looks good with that keystone on it. You can hear in the background a train from Jamaica arrived, and it's sitting in the yard until he's ready to go out again. Here's a good exterior of that. I'm not sure if that's a P-54 or a T-54. It seems to have the characteristics of a P-54. I don't see the pneumatic door buttons in the vestibule, and there are marker lights up there, which the T-54s didn't have. So, but they were very flimsy trucks on those cars. Now the front looks good. Have you done much work on this since last summer? That's when I was here last.
I believe you would have seen it mostly the same. We've just been doing regular preventative maintenance, clearing out a raccoon that decided to die on the inside of it.
Oh, jeez.
Other than that, we were just making sure she doesn't fall any worse. And she's holding up pretty nice. So we have a thick layer of primer on her boiler can and firebox, so that's holding good. And we have her dressed up with her jewelry, same as ever. Keystone, builder's plates.
Yeah, looks, I love that
And her
keystone.
headlight. However, with the advent of new materials, well, not really new, but this is not the original keystone. We do have the original keystone. That is an aluminum casting of the original.
Huh.
Primarily just because if you've ever heard of the rail fanner's code, it's not bolted down, take it. If it's bolted down, unbolt it, take it. If it's welded in place, get your oxyacetylene torch and take it. You don't want that happening.
No. Well, these look pretty new.
Yep, newer conduit, newer, a lot of newer stuff.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily new, it's just been dressed up nicely and redone. I like this piece, it's a nice little PRR steam blow down valve.
Okay.
So,
And the Juniata builder's plate, G5. Yeah, my father remembers those when they were running. They were pretty good accelerators with those big drivers. So.
They were designed to be one of the fastest accelerating steam locomotives. In my research, I can't find any that mathematically could accelerate faster. There may have been one or two that were designed to accelerate quicker, but just due to the general characteristics of this locomotive, one thing I like to say is this was the most Pennsylvania locomotive to ever Pennsylvania. And the reason I say that is, everyone says, oh, it's the K4, that's the most Pennsylvania.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, they had them too. So.
Yeah. However, we have to look at what is the Pennsylvania? What do? They take an older technology and brute force it to work. At the point when the G5s were made, the 460 was kind of a dying wheel arrangement. There were a couple that still were being made. I can't remember which railroads off the top of my head, but it wasn't fully gone. However, it was an older wheel arrangement. 460s and 440s were your old American types that were running around the Wild West. So to see a 460, a 10-wheeler built in the era of superpower steam was very uncommon. There was only one 10-wheeler that outweighed and technically outlengthed the G5s. It was a Southern Pacific one. However, that was a one-off experiment, so I don't count it. However, with this, the story goes, how I like to explain it, is the junior engineer underneath the gentleman who created the E6 Atlantic, and I can't remember his name, was called up to say, we need a new commuter locomotive. At this time, Pennsylvania Railroad wanted a piece of that, is there a smoker? Wanted a piece of that old Philadelphia trolley line. They had a very nice interurban trolley system.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania Railroad wanted a piece of it. So they decided, well, let's make the fastest accelerating locomotive we could. Called up the junior engineer, and what he did is he took the boiler of the E6s, lifted it essentially off the frame, redesigned the frame in the way of dropping the rear trailing truck, downsizing the drivers, and then adding a third one on the back. However, I do believe they kept the exact same piston stroke. So now with smaller drivers and relatively a longer stroke, you now have more of a lever arm against your wheel, which allows you to put more power down quicker. Can't remember the exact number, but I do know that the tractive effort of this locomotive is very, very high. For its size, at least. There were some locomotives, can't remember the exact number. Oh my god. What was it? I'm like doing it in my head. Locomotive that only weighs, what was it?
Total weight is 237,000
locomotive of that weight and that tractive effort, that's really, really good margin that you have. And the weight on drivers is very large majority of that weight. Once again, you only have 6 wheels, and the front truck's only underneath your smoke box. So you have a lot of drivers going into a decent sized contact patch, and when you're only pulling about 8 ping pong cars at the most, you go quick. And that's why I like these locomotives a lot.
Yeah, I like the sound of them. I have a CD of Pennsylvania Railroad Steam, and they have several of these on the Camden to Bordentown line.
Oh, very nice.
And they picked up speed. They have pretty sharp exhausts too. So good whistles. Good Pennsylvania Railroad whistles.
Oh yeah, 3 chimes.
Here's the Oyster Bay turntable. I remember seeing RS3s being turned on it in the 60s, but it's working.
Yes, she does run. She runs on her original 1925 motor. So the story of the Oyster Bay turntable is pretty cool. Before Oyster Bay, the line ended at, I think it was it Locust Valley where the line ended before?
I think. Don't quote me.
Yeah, or was it Glencoe? One of those spots. Well, there was I believe it was a 60-foot.
Just want to get on the mic side. Okay.
60-foot man-powered turntable that was there, and when the line was extended to Oyster Bay, they moved it, put it here. However, you'll notice this is a 70-foot turntable. So in, I think it was 1903, they ripped out the old turntable, expanded the turntable bit, poured in this nice concrete ring, put down the track, and they put in a 70-foot pneumatic turntable. It kind of made sense. You're only going to turn a locomotive around, so why not have a locomotive powered turntable?
Yeah.
Eventually, electricity of enough power got to Oyster Bay. They decided, well, what if we need to turn around a dead locomotive or rail car, something that doesn't have its own air supply? So they stuck on in 1925 an electric motor. Electric motor sits underneath this wooden piece that hides on the side of it. Uses old railroad track as extra adhesion weight.
Yeah.
And it's I believe it was a Westinghouse size 3 motor. What that means, I don't know.
It even has a bell on it. Wow.
Yeah. Use that for when we're going around. You can kind of see the motor. Take a look just from over here, you can see it.
Yeah.
She runs on 740 volts DC, or actually AC.
Well, you know that the old turntable at Greenport ran on air?
Yep. Same exact model of turntable that this was before they really electrified. It was that same air system.
Wow.
The one in Greenport now is just the center frame.
All right. Here are a couple of General Electric locomotives that are, I think one or maybe both of them are running. I know this one is running.
Red locomotive number 26 runs. She has a nice diesel motor in her, of course, with an electric final drive. 397 on the other hand, not so lucky. The inside of that thing is decimated. We use it for parts to keep the running one running. Number 26 actually was giving us a little bit of problems recently. It started trying to strip its drive gear. However,
Crazy.
we remedied that by tensioning it. We believe it hadn't been tensioned since its time at Morris Park. So we actually had to go in and essentially using these nuts push the entire front wheel forward. And that tensioned her up nicely. And now she doesn't try and take teeth off of her drive gear. And so that's our functioning locomotive.
Yeah, when I heard it, when I was here last year, this was running around. It sounded pretty good, actually.
It sounds nice. She has a newer diesel motor in her. I think that was from maybe late 90s is when the new motor was put in place.
They have something similar to this at the Essex Valley Railroad. It sounded like a Mack truck going down the track.
Yes, Essex, they have 55 tonners, they're known as the railroad 55 tonners, which is essentially just 2 of these prime movers next to each other with one of these locomotive frames as a truck and a raised cab in the middle. But this is half of a 55 tonner essentially. And they work nice.
This is caboose number 12, which gigantic wooden caboose compared to that thing.
However, this is quite the small wooden caboose if you compare it to most other modern pieces of rolling stock to the era.
Yeah.
She was used all the way up until, I believe,
1961 it was used until?
And she found her way to, I think it was the Danbury Trolley Museum in Connecticut. It was used as a bunkhouse. However, they eventually said, well, we don't really need it. Probably built something. And this was quite the interesting piece when it came over. It came by ferry, and it rode a truck on a boat while being a train. And took its way across Long Island Sound. She was very diligently put back together by a lot of volunteers, but the person who really treats this as their baby is Javier. And the biggest shout out to him. He's one of the best woodworkers I know, and he takes great care of this.
Excellent. What do Rafi and Kareem do pretty much?
They help out around Raf. He's been not necessarily heading, but he's been one of the guys to usually head the operation sessions that we have after work and during visitation time when we do train rides. He'll also be part of the crew. But he just helps out in general. Me and him, we were placing a large 50-ton jack underneath back of 35's frame, and he helps out with the P-54 restoration, number 50. He helps out with the junior volunteer program too. He's one of the mentors there, so he'll teach juniors what he knows. That's one of the very great programs that we have. It's a great opportunity to give to younger kids.
Absolutely.
And then make sure that right when they start getting into trains and they can actually start doing something, they have the opportunity to get their hands dirty, see the real work of it, and it keeps them around in the volunteer field.
Well, I got into trains when I was 2.
Yep.
69 years later,
Still liking trains.
I haven't lost it. I know a lot of people say, oh, I don't rail fan that much anymore, but, you know, I just, you know, my wife seems to think that's the only thing I care about. So,
Hey, you like looking at trains. I can't disagree.
Hey, better than chasing skirts, I figure, you know?
I guess so.
Skirted locomotives maybe I could chase, you know, but it's fun. It's fun.
So, I'm going to stay until 4, and then inside the M7 compartment, there are 2 remotes.
Okay.
And they control the screens. So, I was thinking maybe instead of having to take it off with a screwdriver, which I did, maybe I could use the remotes to turn it on next time if it turns itself off. So, but I'll look in there after it closes and see if the remotes actually work. Yep. I don't know if they work. I've never tested the remotes.
So is it working or?
Yeah, it's working.
It is working now.
Ah, well, let's see. I want to try this one first, I guess, since we're here. And the other one seems to be occupied. Here's the DE30 simulator number 423. There is a 423 in real life. Listen to that.
This is the train to Hunters Point Avenue, stopping at Westbury, Call Place, Mineola, Jamaica, and Hunters Point Avenue.
Wow, that sounds good.
Oh yeah.
Explain the controls if you can.
All right. So going from left to right, you have your 8-position power throttle.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It goes 8 positions, just like that.
Ooh.
When he's driving, I'll make sure he doesn't crash the train at all. This is your alerter buzzer. There'll be a loud buzzing sound that goes on. That's the ATC system, essentially asking, engineer, are you dead or are you alive? As long as you give that a press,
Right.
everything works. Some people will say, oh, our controls are not accurate. Well, they are accurate to how they were delivered. Originally, the DEs and DMs were delivered with a horn button that automatically
They have
activated.
a valve now.
They now have a valve. So when you're leaving the station, and that is not entirely the right audio file, but if you'll recognize we're using Train Sim World, and there is not a DE in Train Sim World. So to you guys to guess what locomotive it is.
Yeah.
Looking here, you have your left locomotive data screen, just like in the real one. Doesn't really mean anything to the crews. This is the main important screen. Right here is your speedometer, how much you're accelerating, decelerating by, and your brake pressure indicator. Over here is your tractive effort and throttle position.
All right.
To the right is your track speed limit indicator. It's off right now. Once you start moving, it'll turn on. And over here is your combination independent and auto brake system. So,
Okay, let's see. Oh, it has a lap position.
Yep.
Okay. Is that like sort of cocking it back and forth or what?
yeah, so it's non-self-lapping brakes, so you have to go to lap after that maintains pressure. Then you go forward service back to lap, and that starts increasing your brake pressure.
Ah,
So it's Oh, watch your head.
Yeah, I can see that.
All right. You know the controls? Can you put the independent all the way forward for me? There we go. We gotta simulate as if it's just pushing all the way forward. Perfect.
Okay.
So now, once you're ready to go, release the independent for me. Hit the horn 2 times. We're gonna leave the bell on to occur at the end of the platform. You can hold the throttle to position 5.
Here we go.
back
The
to
next
lap.
station is Mineola. When exiting the train, please step over the gap between the train and the platform.
We're going to look for the 6-car MU sign. Once you see that, you can push it into service. That's going to be the 6-car MU right there.
You have speed control after this?
Oh, that's your letter. Bow off. There you go.
Excuse me, you have the speed control hooked up to this?
What'd you say?
The speed control is hooked up to the simulator?
Yeah.
ATC too?
No, not ATC, but you can pull front, you can pull your independent all the way back. 2 hits on the horn. Same thing, throttle to position 5 until you reach 10 miles an hour.
Yeah, this sounds awesome.
Now you can pull, yep.
Yeah, this wasn't working last summer when I was here. When did you get it working again?
This is the
We got it working for this season, so it came online right near the beginning of the year. So you can put your brake to lap. There you go. Once you get up to 60 miles an hour, you can push the throttle to idle. We're going to go into service, back to lap quickly. Back, yep, there you go. You want to just start applying the brakes slowly so you can slow down.
Bob has done a lot of these.
Yeah.
You know exactly what to do and when to do it. So service, I apply more brake.
Yep.
And lap, I hold that.
You hold that position.
And what's the hold position do again?
Hold, so when you pull back the hold is holding before release. That's essentially what it means. Pull it back to release for me. Yep. Push your brake back to lap. One click into service, back
This
to lap.
station is
Click brake
Mineola.
back to lap.
This is the train to Hunters
Put
Point
it into
Island.
service and leave it
The
there.
next station is Jamaica, followed by Hunters
Pull it
Point
to hold.
Avenue. When exiting the train, please step over
Release
the
the
gap
brake.
between the train and the platform, or else you might end up between the two.
You know, you make
like
a
my mother
smoother
did,
stop
and
when
it's
you have the
not
brakes
a pretty
released.
sight.
Full stop.
Push your brake back to lap. As long as we got up to that 6 MU, I'm happy. Alright, put it into service. Alrighty, independent on. Fell off. And release the brake.
What's the next stop on this? Maryland Avenue?
Jamaica.
Oh, okay. Can we do that until Jamaica?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I'll let the next guy go on after Jamaica.
Of course.
go one click in the service back to lap quickly. One more time for me. Pull the hold. You don't have to touch the throttle right now, so if the alerter goes on, you can use your left hand. You're going to want to keep your hand on the brake because we're going to have to catch her at 15.
You shouldn't have to open the throttle anymore.
Release the brake. We're going to go back to lap. We're going to go one click into service, back to lap. Pull back to hold. Release the brake. Pull your throttle to position 3. Push the throttle to idle. You're going to go back to lap. You're going to go one click in the service, back to lap. Now back to hold. And release. Pull your throttle to position 3.
This station is Jamaica. Change at Jamaica for trains to Penn Station, Grand
Now to
Central
position
Terminal,
idle.
Atlantic Terminal, the air train to JFK, and all other
Push your brake to
destinations.
lap.
We are arriving on track number 2. Next train to Penn Station is across the platform on track number 3. Next train to Grand Central will be on track number 1.
There's a little bit
Next
of nap
train
here.
to Atlantic Terminal is on track 12, so you better hustle to get it. When exiting the train, please step over the gap between the train and the platform.
Do the real engines have these lap positions and hold
Yep.
positions? Yeah. Slow approach. 15,000.
Pull your throttle to position 3. Now back to idle. Pull your throttle to position 1. Push your throttle into idle. Put your brake into service. Valve off. Independent on. Release the off. There we go.
Get all that?
Yep.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Now I'm on the M7 simulator, so explain the controls here.
Simple.
Please.
Forward is your brake, middle to coast, and pull it all the way back to accelerate.
Okay.
Also, second thing, whenever you hear that beep, just like the DE, you want
Yeah.
that acknowledge lever right there? Yeah. So, pull it all the way back to accelerate it.
Okay. And we're leaving out of what station? Hicksville?
This is...
No, that's
This is
Hempstead.
Hempstead, yes.
Okay. Better watch the speed.
So, just like the last one, that's your speed. You got the current speed limit, which everyone's lit up.
Yeah.
Right there is the horn.
think I was just careless. Next stop, Nassau Boulevard. Subscriber on my channel love the sound of this. Stewart Manor next. Has this simulator been pretty reliable?
Yeah, I'd say so.
It's been running longer. It sounds great. cars is this train supposed to be?
It says right there, it's 8.
Oh, shit. Well, I guess pretend the rear 2 cars are closed. I don't know. I gotta watch that.
No idea.
I take this seriously. Clear signal.
So we're doing one more station and then switch out, okay?
Yeah, sure. What's the next stop?
Next stop is Bell Brothers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're just gonna wait right there and then we'll go out again.
This station is Melrose. As you leave the train, please step over the gap between the train and the platform.
Fascinating. Fascinating. No, that's all right.
Got to take a picture here.
Thank you for the use of the simulators. It's been great.
Of course.
Absolutely terrific. Have fun, Metro North Rail guy.
Thank you.
All right. The M7 simulator was fairly easy to operate. I overshot Garden City, but I think I got the hang of it. But there were people waiting, so. But this DE30 simulator, oh my God, this thing is out of this world. Thundering and shaking, my goodness. Doesn't have an authentic 423 horn. Imagine if it had a K5 LLA, I'd probably break it. Then they'd send me a huge bill. But people are really having a ball with these simulators. Listen to that, you can hear it. Well, the Oyster Bay Railroad Museum is a fascinating place to visit, but these are definitely the 2 stars of the show. That M7, 7001, and this thing is definitely the big superstar. I don't know if they're planning on getting any additional ones, but I thoroughly enjoyed my visit to the Oyster Bay Railroad Museum. Oyster Bay in Nassau County doesn't seem like a Nassau County town. It seems like a town that's out further in Suffolk County, but beautiful harbor here. Piece of land you see over there is Center Island. It's sort of a peninsula. Road comes down from Bayville and it ends over there. Very upscale community. And that strip of land out there separating the harbor from the Sound is Bayville. Great place for fishing. Not too much train activity here on the weekends, but you got a couple of trains coming in. One revenue train and one equipment. Nice beach day. Well, at 3:44, arriving Oyster Bay is 6554 from Jamaica. I would imagine he'll pull into the yard, and there's an equipment train right behind him. Well, the 6554 is sitting in the station. He's probably going to go out at 4:46 or 6557. But there is an equipment train right behind him. He just passed Locust Valley. Looking east, this is the yard at Oyster Bay. Even though it's a weekend, it's empty. You would think this would be all loaded up with trains, but I think equipment is running around on the Montauk branch today. And as night falls, that equipment will come back here in time for the morning rush. Well, the equipment train has arrived behind this guy. He's got 422. I would imagine he's going to throw the switch so he can run around him in the siding. How often do you see this happen?